Good afternoon, everyone. Ken Shreve here with Ed Carson in the IBD newsroom with a look at the market just after the close, Thursday, February 14th. We kind of lost a little ground headed into the close. Not the best of finishes for the stock market. The Dow Jones looks like it's down about 0.4%. S&P 500 down 0.3%. Nasdaq was able to eke out a modest gain of 0.1%. We talked about strong earnings from Cisco Systems and Cyber-Ark before the open. Coca-Cola, a big drag on the Dow, down 8% on weak earnings. So, all right, Ed, we did talk about some disappointing retail sales that weighed on the market early, down 1.2% in December. That was kind of well below expectations. Yeah,
it was really bad. I mean, it was supposed to be up a little bit. Really, it was a delayed report, came out, and people want strong news now, and it was not good action. I mean, still, the market, while it wasn't great today, there were some positives. The S&P, while it fell, it kept support at the 200-day line, and the Nasdaq is still sort of stuck below that area. So that's something trying to get above that. That would be an area. And also, if you look over to the side of that, you can see there was a little peak, and that's early December. Like that's just before the market went off a cliff. So if that was basically another area where a lot of people might say, "I'm getting out of here. I got my money back. I'm getting out." So it's a resistance area. We're holding there. That's really not that much to talk about.
And there's also news late in the day, Capitol Hill, that Mitch McConnell was quoted as saying that President Trump is going to sign the spending bill, but that he was also ready to declare a state of emergency.
Yeah, and that might get some legislative and congressional opposition. It'll be interesting to see how that goes, but the market sort of took that in stride, to be honest.
Yeah, it did. It really didn't sell off too much on that news. All right, let's take a look at a few stocks today. We mentioned Cyber-Ark earnings before the open. This stock actually had a really good day despite some weakness in the Nasdaq. This is just a good example of how when a stock gaps up, and it really held its strong gain throughout the day, and really good numbers from Cyber-Ark early.
Yeah, earnings more than doubled. It was really good guidance. It's just really doing very well. And there's definitely not all the group stocks in its group have done great, but this is definitely one of them, had really tremendous growth. So, it's like, and you can see that relative strength is all doing well. It was already extended, before today. It wasn't something to buy. I mean, though you can sometimes buy the gap up on earnings, even though it isn't that situation, but have to know how to play that. But
yeah, I had a question from a reader earlier today about Cyber-Ark. Is it the leader in the group? And it's actually a good question because there are so many stocks in the security software industry group that have composite ratings of 90, 95 or higher. A lot of top-rated stocks, really strong breadth of leadership in the security software group. All right, also wanted to take a look. Cyber-Ark is a member of the IBD 50. The IBD 50 list of top-rated growth stocks had a really excellent day today. The FFTY, the IBD 50 ETF, was up about 1.3% at last check. I want to take a look at Ubiquity Networks. This is a stock that recently reported earnings, but just a good example of how you can buy a stock when it gaps up in price, and it's often not too late because Ubiquity has extended gains from that gap up. So I think we have a chart of Ubiquity that we could take a look at.
Now, the thing is, when you have a gap up like this, what you want to do is, treat the opening price as sort of the buy point. I mean, because that stock really gapped up way beyond any possible buy point. It broke out, but so that's what you want to do is like the opening price. I don't remember what that one was, and that would be an area, and try to buy as close to that as possible. But yeah, I mean, this one did really well. Obviously, it can be very volatile. You can have a stock gap up and go really high and then come back down, so you have to pay really close attention to it as well.
So Ubiquity, when it actually gapped up several days ago, the open price was around 120.50, and shares were recently trading around 136. So you've got a pretty nice gain if you're able to buy near that gap up open price. But Ubiquity, another top gainer in the IBD 50 today. Also want to take a look at an earnings report that we did not touch on this morning. Ingevity, which is today's stock of the day. This is a maker of specialty chemicals, a materials manufacturer. Ticker here is NGVT, and just another example of a gap up in price on earnings.
Yeah, it was really excellent. I mean, profit more than doubled. Profit and sales growth best in several years. And this is also another example why you want to screen for stocks, because honestly, I'm not, oh, I'm going to look at these cool tech companies, or you have these fields. No, you look for the best stocks, look for the ones with the great ratings, and ones near charts, and that'll tell you, because you might not come across this stock otherwise, but it did really, really well. Cleared a double bottom base here. Really excellent numbers. This is why we made it the stock of the day. Really good looking stock.
Yeah, every day stock of the day at investors.com is just going to profile a stock with intriguing fundamentals, often with a pretty good chart. So Ingevity definitely fit the bill today. All right, going to take a look at Canopy Growth. Haven't seen earnings yet from this marijuana stock, but technically in a pretty good setup ahead of earnings and another big quarter of sales growth expected.
Yeah, I mean, they're supposed to quadruple sales to $66 million, American. They're going to probably report in Canadian dollars, so if you're checking this out, just watch for that. It does have a cup with handle base, but as you can sort of see from this chart, that is a deep base, more than 50%. We have research that shows that, cup bases, bases that are more than 40% generally have a much lower odds of success. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. But to be honest, we haven't, it's not always these pot stocks are setting up. They have big wild movements, that's for sure.
Yeah, so Canopy Growth has emerged as one of the stronger performers among marijuana stocks. We'll see what results look like and see what the stock looks like tomorrow morning when it opens. All right, folks, that'll do it for today. Again, we kind of had a weak close with the Dow down about 0.4%. Nasdaq eked out a small gain. We're still in a confirmed uptrend here, so the bulls are still a happy bunch. And tomorrow morning, I think Ed is going to be here with Justin for the morning update. And until then, don't forget to join us on all our social media outlets. We are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So be sure to sign up for alerts at those venues. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow morning.